Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. Nearly 2,600 of these. This is WrestleMania 38 weekend, so lots of content should be added relatively soon. Anyway, Black Charus with Decay defeating Diener with Violent by Design on BTI. Opening video is a recap of last week. Moose and Josh Alexander brawl. Alexander opens the show tonight by telling Dia Moore that Moose is sent home with threats of firing Moose. Alexander has enough of D'Amour's excuses and wants to fight Moose ASAP. Prior to the match, Gresham takes the microphone to talk about why he had come to Impact Wrestling. He talked about sharing the essence of Ring of Honor with the world, but unfortunately the people of Honor No More had followed him. He talked about Edwards not being part of the core of what ROH represented. Kenny King of Honor No More interrupts Gresham to tell him that he is an idiot and to allow ROH to use him. They were all used before becoming Honor No More. John Gresham defeats Kenny King in a non-title match. Last week, Gresham returned and goes after Eddie Edwards, Honor No More, after a relevant thing. Early in the match, Gresham tries to pull King into his style of match while King is trying to do the same and pull his opponent into something speed related. Then we keep trying until King rakes the eyes of Gresham and then drops him with a dive at the floor. King works over Gresham with a bunch of strikes and slams on the outside and goes off for a minute beforehand, and then Gresham makes a comeback, dodging and chopping King, hitting a dragon screw leg whip and taking out the legs of his opponent, but then follows up and dodges Gresham's top rope attack. Gresham then also hurts his leg during this failed attempt. Gresham and King work on each other's legs, trading near falls, and they trade roll-ups with Gresham trying to lock on King's leg, only to get reversed. King then strikes and slams Gresham. King hits a tiger driver with a near fall, but then is able to follow up after his leg gives out, and then Gresham locks on the figure four and pins King for the win. Gresham is, to me, one of the best technical wrestlers in the country right now, maybe even the world. Anyway, after the match, Eddie Edwards runs down, jumps Gresham from behind, and King goes after Edwards. They team up with each other. Edwards goes in, about to hit the Boston Knee Party, but Rocky Romero runs down, makes the save between the two, and manages to send Honor No More away. Gia Miller interviews the Motor City Machine Guns about their previous win over White and Bay. Shelley addresses the controversy from the last match, but then it's clear that they had a plan and a pin for 3 seconds. Miller interviews Deanna Purrazzo about defending her championship against both Shaw and Frost. And in the same match, Purrazzo then said she's there to push the limits of what she can do, and she's ready to take on anyone at the multiverse of matches. The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, defeated Johnny Swinger and Ziggy Dice. Dice joins Swinger's dungeon, and Swinger believes this is a wrestling school. The match is a complete squash. Good Brothers, Gallows specifically works over Dice to start the match, runs him over with a fallaway slam and a big boot, tags in Anderson for the Magic Killer and the 1-2-3. Backstage, Miller asks the brothers why they answered the challenge. They said that they wanted to show that they're there to beat people up and toe the rebellion. Then they want to go after the whole tag division, Impact Tag titles, but also they are going for the tag team titles, ROH tag team titles tomorrow against the Briscoes at the multiverse of matches. I'm not necessarily sure that I agree with all these inter-promotional things when really AEW and WWE are the only companies that really matter at this point. Maybe they can rehab Ring of Honor, but honestly, Impact to the average fan doesn't really count. Anyway, afterwards, PCO calling out Jonah in the parking lot, eventually attending PCO attacks him from behind. They brawl and Jonah slams PCO into some metal. Then he attacks PCO with a sledgehammer, breaking a plate of concrete over him, and then that he keeps coming back for more. PCO slams Jonah with a truck door and starts burying Jonah under asphalt, certainly trying to intensify the issues between the two. Josh Alexander defeating Madman Fulton with Ace Austin. Austin, who just recently, within the last little while, signed a contract extension. Good for Impact, bad for Ace Austin, at least I feel that way. Anyway, the match is booked last week. Mostly a back and forth. Alexander going for a bunch of slams. Fulton comes back with strikes. Clash of styles soon after the start of the match. Alexander drops Fulton with a powerbomb and locks on the ankle lock for the submission. Effective match at getting Alexander over if you're a fan of his. Alexander wouldn't let go of the ankle lock. Austin tries to save his friend, but that doesn't go very well either. He eventually backs down. Backstage, Trey Miguel approaches Mike Bailey, who wants to know who his relation was to Ace Austin. Miguel then tries to show Bailey that Austin is not someone to be trusted. Bailey said that he is ready for anything. We then see an interview from last week with Mickie James addressing being betrayed by Chelsea Green. She then calls for her and Cardona to sell out. She then acknowledged the Cardona and Aldis have had their problems, but they're hoping their relationship with Green could be different. She talked about Cardona and Aldis coming for him in the multiverse of matches. Not necessarily a fan of this either. Anyway, Miller tries to interview with Cardona. Cardona is mad that he wasn't being asked about his legendary title reign as digital media champion. Green said that the last week James kept asking her not to help out, so she did as such. Together they made fun of James, and Aldis said they were the strongest power couple. Rosemary wins the Knockout World Championship #1 Contendership Battle Royal. Knockout World Title #1 Contendership Battle Royal. Decay starts the match dominating a little bit. Dashwood and McKay get paired up and both battle around on the apron. McKay eliminates Dashwood. Rain goes out to eliminate McKay. Landed on Caleb and damage is done. Caleb and the Influence relationship is already done, and this just reinforces that. Evans and Grace pair up, and they strike each other a good bit. Grace, Shaw, Frost, and Rosemary all team up to eliminate Evans. Final three are Shaw, Frost, and Rosemary. Frost is almost eliminated by Shaw. Then Frost goes for the top rope moonsault. Likewise, Rosemary goes to the upside down, but manages to save herself from elimination. At the end, all the women fight on the apron, but Rosemary manages to eliminate from both. And then she goes to see the ropes. Rosemary versus Tasha Steelz at Rebellion for the Knockout Championship. Then we go to promo from Violent by Design addressing their win over the Good Brothers last week. Young talks about having to take out the whole roster. Come Rebellion, Young also addresses Diener's loss to Black Taurus on BTI, but then they will soon recover a bit of control. Diener lost for them. Gunger defeats Aiden Pierce, or Prince, making his return to Impact after many months. Ginger, however, is on a winning streak, and match isn't really a squash, but it's dominated by Ginger, and then size and power advantage. After some offense, Prince tries to take out on the match, but Ginger then manages chopping around, and they fight around ringside. Back in the ring, Ginger drops Prince with a power slam for a near fall. Prince then catches Ginger with a series of strikes and other kicks. Ginger then comes back. Prince hits a brainbuster, but fails to land a 450 splash, only to get taken out in the corner for the pinfall. After the match, Myers walks out for the back, and he's surprised by W. Morrissey from behind. Myers then has been stopped for weeks. Morrissey and Myers brawl all around, and then Prince gets put through a table. Myers eventually will probably go through a table in his own right when they pay the situation off. Then we go to Masha Slamovich against Abby Jane, and just a squash for Slamovich, managing to pin Jane after Dragon Suplex, a kick to the head, and a snowplow driver. They run down the Multiverse of Matches card, and anyway, so Bullet Club, Jay White and Chris Bay defeat Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. Rematch from a couple of weeks ago here. Sabin and White start the match with the latter being heated, but then they fail to take control after Sabin's speed. White then relies on raking Sabin's eyes in order to get some offense, but the Machine Guns start ahead and double teamed him. And Bay, Shelley and Sabin keep double teaming White, and then they manage to get Shelley off the apron and allow Bay to come in with the assist to cut off Sabin. Bullet Club then manages to go back around. Sabin eventually is able to dodge both of his opponent's offense, tagging in Shelley, who nails Bay and locks in the Motor City stretch. Machine Guns double team Bay again, but White then throws them to take them out. Sabin allows Bay to cut him off, and ultimately Shelley is going back into the same plan to keep Shelley away from Sabin. Bullet Club then plan their attack, but they fail. White immediately stops the rush and then sends both Machine Guns for a dive by Bay, and then the ring gets a near fall with Bay getting a plancha, but Shelley breaks the pinning attempt off. White then complained that it was 3, but that doesn't get him anywhere. Sabin then hit the cutter on Bay, allowing and manages to allow things. Shelley then hits the Skulls and Bones, but Bay kicks out, and at the last second, Shelley and White has counter exchanges. They both go for the Blade Runner, but Sabin joins and takes out White along with Shelley, and then they hit tandem kicks on Bay and Made in Detroit. Bay blocks that attempt. Sabin then dodges the Art of Finesse, but after a half and half by White, Bay hits it again and pins Sabin for the win. Spotty main event. Honestly, a weak show for a national promotion, but it is what it is. We'll be back with more right after this.